There you go.
All right, good. I'm going to record this because I want to post it on YouTube, and there's going to be some questions. I did call Toastmasters today to get some clarifications on some questions I had developing this, and some of the answers I got were somewhat surprising. So I would have guessed certain things that I would have been incorrect on. So I'm still struggling with that chest cough. I got to see somebody about it, but I'm going to be coughing from time to time just because that's what's going on right now. So when we start in thinking about joining Toastmasters and making Toastmasters important, what I start with is as long as Toastmasters has been around, and Omar, if you hear uh, things overhead, I'll warn anybody watching the video as well. We are currently doing this during the practice for the air show, which is going on this week and is going on across the street from this very facility. So a lot of people probably will be straggling in if they're coming at all because it's hard to even get in here right now. They have the main street closed off because of the practice for the air show, which is later tonight. So if you hear jets overhead, that's because there's jets overhead. All right. Ever since this Toastmasters was discovered back in the 1920s by Ralph Smedley, there has been a program in place to teach people to move on through and progress from being just a speaker to speaking about doing an icebreaker speech to some pretty intense speeches on a lot of different topics and a lot of different kinds of speeches. Personally, I became involved when I was a speech student at Portland State. I was told by my professor in 1982 that your speech skills are only a craft. They have to be cultivated and they have to be perfected after you leave. His fear was we would leave Toastmasters and leave school and let these skills deteriorate. So he pointed me to Toastmasters. And it was one place I was able to gain these skills and continue to keep the ones I have. And I have used some regard of that for the 45 years I've been involved there. The educational program has gone through many evolutions over the years, and there was one that lasted about 30 years, I guess, from the 40s up to about 2002, that was in place for a long time. In 2004, they introduced what we now call the legacy program. And then from 2017 until 2021, we transitioned from that legacy program into the current program we have called Pathways. And Pathways has now gone through four mini updates, including one that came out just at the end of last year. So they're calling this particular version 2.1, using tech lingo. We had the original Pathways, which was 1.0. They tweaked it, became 1.1, then they re-overhauled it, and then the overhaul needed an overhaul. So we're at 2.1 now. We're going to be going through what you need to do once you become a Toastmaster. If you want to be involved in Toastmasters learning program and how to, in fact, get started. We're going to start with the login. Now, we're going to start with the login. If you are a brand new member, I'm going to go ahead and click on login. I'm hoping that login is going to take me where I need to go. Yes, I am on library Wi-Fi, so it's probably not real zippy. But if you do not have an account with us yet, what you're going to need to do is go to first time logging in and create a password. And what you're going to need for that is the email address that you use to sign into Toastmasters. You might also need your membership number. I have not done this in 12 years, but let's see what it's asking me for. There's my email address, and it's going to tell me, of course, it's going to send you a verification. So hopefully, once you get through that, you will be able to set yourself up a login that will get you into the back end of this website. There's three levels of this website. The first one is a members level. There is a visitors level, and then there is a administrators level. Up until this last iteration, the administrator's level was only accessible typically by three club officers, which was your president, your VPE, your secretary. They have administrative rights to the club and the things you can do. With this iteration of Pathways and the website, it has been expanded to include any elected club officer. I would encourage your clubs to operate the educational program through your VPE so we don't have a bunch of people approving stuff without the knowledge of the VPE. If the VPE needs help, I encourage the VPE to ask one of their fellow officers to assist them with managing the educational program. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with my email and password. Excuse me. I'm going to pause. Well, this is Daniel. Hello. We are in the community room downstairs. We had to change. Thank you. Yeah, we're right by the snack bar there. We're right by the snack bar there. Bye. We have others coming. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. I have my password saved. I use a password manager, and so I've got everything saved here. If you fail your login and the reason you can't get into Toastmasters is because of your failed login, attempt it twice and then go to forgot password or forgot email, however difficulty you're having, and reset things. If you fail the third time, you will be locked out perhaps for 30 minutes. So I would recommend that you either store your password or don't wait until it locks you out to change your password. It's not a big deal. And if you haven't taken time to explore the Toastmasters.org website, then I would say take some time and see all that's in there. It used to be pretty non, it used to be pretty non-interactive. It has gotten better. But as going into Toastmasters website, you're going to get this. It's going to be your homepage. This is not exactly identical for every member, but it is very similar. You might see different things here based upon your level of participation and what, but it is still this basic look and feel. And everything you see up here, education, this whole part, this all remains the same. The differences between you and an officer will be you will have different access than your officers will. Your officers will be able to, once they get into these areas, and if you ever want to buy stuff that's got Toastmasters branding or anything, then this shop button is where you're going to want to go. One place you can go here is where it says education programs. I would tell you that when you get into education programs, it gets a little bit murky because you don't know what to click. Uh, you can go to pathways, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back home. And if you ever are lost on the Toastmasters website, just remember all you need to do is click on the logo in the corner and it'll take you back home. Okay? So once you get home, you're going to see these tiles, and I'll show you what mine look like. I have quite a few different things here, and I'll show you all of these, but we have the Go to Basecamp, we have Learning Hub, we have Achievement Board. Your achievement board is going to look different based on what you've achieved. I'm just going to, and you want to stay up on this, particularly if you're doing a lot right now in Toastmasters. You go to the Education Awards, for example, and it'll tell you what officers you've held, what your sponsorship is, your club support. I'll just show you, for example, what education awards look like. The main thing I want people to look at here is when they finish a level to make sure it gets credited to them. This isn't going to happen immediately. And if you happen to know the VPE has approved your level, at least wait overnight because they can approve it today and you still won't show up until tomorrow. The whole system refreshes overnight. So be kind to your VPEs as you're going through this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back home, or I'm going to go backwards. I guess I can go backwards from here. I'm going to scroll back up and show you the top because there's a big difference between the two of these. I want achievement. Let's go back to welcome. But guys, you guys see the breadcrumbs here. This helps you navigate home, welcome, so forth. I am going to start as if I'm a fairly new member and I have not picked path yet. So in this case, I have paid my dues. I now have paid my $25 extra entry to get in, which pays for your first path, and it pays for everything. It's all included in your entry. I'm going to go to Learning Hub, and then I'm going to go to Choose My Learning. And it's going to show you different paths. Select your language. You notice that this is something, and I'm going to keep pointing at Judith because she's been around a while and she's seen when we used to order the manuals. You'll notice, Judith, that there's only like 6 or 7 languages right now. This list is not nearly as long as it used to be. So we're going to go, and there's only one version of Spanish, and there's only one version of French, and there's only one version of English, U.S. English. The Brits have to deal with our quirkiness. Yep. So options to select learning. So you have 3 ways you can pick a path. And if you pick for the first time, then I can recommend take a path assessment. Take 5 minutes or so to get path suggestions tailored to your goals. I think we're going to take a quick minute. I'm going to just show you what this is. It's 30 questions. They don't take very long. Select 3 topics you are interested in learning from the list below. Well, I'm interested in time management, change management, and motivating. Okay. So which of the following topics most relates to the personal and professional goals? We're going to say time management. Learning about something will help me with some of these questions. They ask them many times. I'm still not sure why. I show my understanding of others by reflecting feelings back to them. Of course I do, so I'm going to agree. Well, I want to go through this because I want you guys to see what you're in for. A conversation, I talk about things which are interested to myself and the other person. Usually, sometimes I try to make it about me, but sometimes I do let the person talk. I make eye contact with my audience when presenting a speech, always. I think I'm very good at that. I adapt my communications behaviors to meet others' expectations. I can tend to sometimes do that and sometimes not. Working at a team is a good opportunity for me to understand myself better. Always felt that way. And you'll notice up at the top, it's giving me my progress. I seek out new ways to do things. Nah, not so much. Ordinarily, I'm very calm and relaxed in conversations. Yeah, very, very good at that usually. I seek out leadership opportunities. It used to be a strongly agree. Now I'm down to agree. I'm now looking for reasons not to lead people. I often initiate conversation with people I don't know well. Yeah, I do actually, sometimes to a fault. Engaging in group discussions with new people makes me nervous. Eh, usually not. I'm just going to say unsure. Not sure what to do with my hands while giving a speech. No, I pretty much disagree with that. I'm pretty good with my hands. Once I set interpersonal communication goal for myself, I take the step. I know the steps to achieve it. Well, I agree that I know them. I don't always do them. How I respond to others because I'm perceptive and attentive to others' behaviors. Sure. While speaking, I'm aware of others are reacting to what I say. By the way, depending on your answers, they're going to change the questions. Your questions are going to be tailored to how you answer things. While speaking, I'm aware of how, I'm going to say on this is usually. I just caught myself reading another speech to another group the other day, and I was not as engaged. So I will say not always. I show my involvement in conversation both verbally and non-verbally. I think that's pretty strong for me. I think you'll agree. I use a wide range of behaviors, including self-disclosure, to adapt to others. Yes, I do. But I'm fairly outgoing. So while giving a speech, I get so nervous I forget facts I really know. I don't really. I usually keep my facts. Sometimes I'm over analytic. I'm reluctant to adopt new ways of doing things till I see them working for people around me. No, I'm not reluctant. But I'm absolutely ready to learn those. Now I have 8 questions left. I use humor to communicate in a variety of situations. You guys will all agree that that's a strongly agree. I feel relaxed, usually. I can easily relate plenty of humorous ideas to a group of people, sometimes to a dead audience. I like to get involved in group discussions. I'll be honest with you, I do it really well, but I don't like it. I am flexible enough to adapt to others' communication styles. Well, I was a trainer for a while, for a long while, so I'll agree to that. I prefer to be a team member rather than a team leader. No, I disagree with that. I am comfortable with using humor to communicate with others. Oh, yeah. And I've got 2 questions left. I am generally cautious about accepting new ideas. Yeah, more so as I get older. I don't seem to engage, people don't seem to engage with me when I'm being humorous. Yeah, I'm afraid that's true. Okay, so I'm going to submit, and what's going to happen is it's going to go through, and it has told me that the paths I should be pursuing are dynamic leadership or visionary communication. Now, I happen to be already enrolled in one of them, and I think the other one I've already completed. So that might not be the choice for me. But so I'm going to back out of this for a minute. I want to go back, just go back for a second and go back to select the language. Instead of take a path assessment, I'm going to say view all learning. It's going to take me back to the same screen. I go to view all learning, and it's going to give me all the paths. Now, we used to have 10, then we had 11, now we have 6, and now, as of March, we have 8. And Judith, you are going to love these last 2. I know you are because I do. Okay, so these first 6 that they have decided are the ones people are using are, and I forgot to pack a mouse, so I'm working off of a touchpad here. Let me, you know what? Just go old school here. Okay, dynamic leadership, visionary communication, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, and presentation mastery. Now, the second way to pick a path is you can open up one of these, double click on it, and it'll tell you what it's about. It'll tell you it's designed to help you build your skills as a humorous, engaging speaker. It's not going to let me buy this because I'm currently working on it. So it's a fail safe here, so you don't buy or by the way, you get your first path for free. Your second path costs $20. If you want to buy a path, I would buy it now because these 6 paths, they are going to go up in price on July the 1st to $35. So if you want to buy a pet, if you're not really sure about this and you want to save $15, just sign them up for them, pay for them now, and let them just fall. And whenever you want to work on them, you can work on them. But if you buy them now, then you'll save $15. The last 2, they're going to be a little bit different. So you go through this with all 6 of these, and you can pick one. Now, let's say I'm going to pick the one I've never done is persuasive influence. And so I'll take this up to a point. I don't necessarily want to buy it, but let's just say I'm going to. Okay, now, each path is broken up into 5 levels. On all 6 paths, the first 2 levels are almost identical. When I say almost, there's usually 1 or 2 speeches in level 2 that is different from path to path. Once you get to level 3, 4, and 5, they're going to start really leaning into the theme of that path, which is in this case, persuasive influence. So I will then select persuasive influence, and I can now enroll. I'm not going to because I don't want to spend $20 on this one. And you may ask me for a credit card. If I have one saved with them, then it'll just use that one. So that's the second method. The third method is the recommended method for people who don't know what the heck they're doing. And that is the recommended path for beginners is presentation mastery. So if you haven't done any of the others, because it's kind of a little bit of everything. And most of the new members I have mentored and dealt with have selected presentation mastery as their first one. Not everybody does, but most of them do. And all of these are excellent. Now, yeah. Hmm. Yes. Yep.
Because I already did level 1 and 2 in presentation mastery, do I start from scratch
Yep.
with level 1?
Yep. You'll repeat level 1 and level 2, and they will be identical again. You'll do a new icebreaker. You'll do a new everything. Now, you should be able to do them a lot easier because you already did it once. But all of these paths start this way. And so there are about 20 speeches per path. They have increased this number from where it was in the previous version, meaning 2.0 versus 2.1. That means since December when they created the new pathways. And the reason is because old timers like Judith and I were saying, look, when we got our DTMs, we needed to get 40 speeches done, and now they're doing them on 26. And so they've added speeches to it, which I think is a good thing because I think you really earn your marks by standing up and doing more speeches. So I have no issue with this. So you're going to have around somewhere between 15 and 20 speeches per path. I'm going to go back for a minute because I want to show you the last two. Now on these 6, if you want to buy these, you buy them now for 20 bucks. If you want to buy them after July, it's 35 bucks. There's no difference. The price of our membership is not going to change, and the price of the new membership, the new initial membership, anybody that joins Toastmasters since 2004 pays $25 one time when they join. If you want to quit Toastmasters for years and come back, you're still in the system. You don't pay that $25 ever again. If you started before 2004, when you were here before, that basically 2004 is when they started loading all these people into the system. So now in January, they added 2 new paths. Judith, you're going to absolutely love this. There's good news and bad news. The good news is that these are very concurrent with what we now call the legacy program. These are the same speeches we gave in our CC manuals, and our CL manuals, and all of our advanced manuals. And it's set up exactly the same. That's the good news. There's 2 pieces of bad news. Number one, they cost $60 a piece. Now, they are not subject to the increase coming up in price. So they will always be 60. And they count just like a regular path. Also, you cannot sign up for one of them as your first path. You have to be through level 1, only level 1, but level 1 of a previous one of these 6 paths in order to take this for your second path. Okay? I'm going to open this up just to give Judith a little bit of candy, and it was when I saw it, I was just like, thank you. It only took you 6 years. But take a look at the speeches here, Judith. I mean, these are our CC manual. About time, huh? So anyways, so this one can be your other one. And if we like the advanced manuals, they haven't really done them the same way, but they took some of the more entertaining and storytelling advanced books, and they are in this series. And I will just tell you guys all as friends, this will be my next path I purchase will be this one. Because this was to me was the fun part of Toastmasters when I was in it before. And this is all, and you're looking at this and saying, my God, there's 25 projects in here. Yeah, there is. It's kick-ass fun. So these two are, and they count just as another path when you're done with them. So there are now 8 paths, and you'll see that we're no longer legacy, by the way. We are now vintage. Okay? So once you have gone through the path, you're going to have your first speeches. So now you are now enrolled and you're going to start getting ready to do stuff. Before I move on, are there any questions so far on how to get into Toastmasters.org, how to select a path, and where the paths are? Let's do a little pop quiz. Which of these is going to have me if I want to get a new path, which one am I going to click on? Is that correct? Learning Hub. Now, I have now signed up for a path. Now, where am I going to go? After you got signed up for a path, you are now going to go into Learning Hub or go into Basecamp. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Mine's going to look different than yours, and everybody's is going to look different. But you're going to be able to see a lot of stuff here. Now, in mine, I have visionary communication is in progress. Engaging humor is in progress. Story collection, I do not know where that came from. It just showed up. That was not a choice before. It just kind of happened. Yeah, correct. They will just throw stuff at you. Pathways Mentor Program and available Club Coach Program, those they just showed up. If I'm going to be a club coach, then I can go here and sign up. Typically, another club is going to have signed me up already. But it'll also tell me what I've completed. Distinguished Toastmaster, Innovative Planning, Presentation Mastery. Those are the first 2 paths I finished to get the DTM. We're going to get into DTM requirements here in a little while. Okay, so I'm now going to go into visionary communication. This is the last speech I did, and I did not put my last 2 speeches in here. We're going to do one right now. Okay, level 1. I am on level 1. My progress in visionary communication is 15%. What did I just do? I just clicked on something I shouldn't have. Okay. That percentage is for the entire path. So I've completed 15% of the entire path until I've given every project. And by the way, we don't have speeches anymore. For a long time, we had speeches. Then we had presentations, right? Again, our legacy program, they were called presentations. Now we have projects. Okay? They're called projects. So I have completed level 1 icebreaker. And if you click on overview, I think it's going to show me what I've done. And level 1, I have completed my icebreaker. I have completed writing a speech with a purpose. And now I'm on evaluation and feedback. So I'm going to go there. And I did 2 speeches on Wednesday. So one of them, they were the same speech. I gave the speech, and then I got feedback from my evaluators, and then I went back in the evening to feedbackers, and I delivered the speech again using the feedback that I got from Silicon Forest. So I have completed both ends of this. I'm just going to do one of them now. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm just going to go, and each of these is a lesson, okay? As you walk through, it's going to tell you stuff you have to do. You don't always have to do what it says. You can sometimes next as I call it, next through it. I usually do because I don't really feel like I'm gaining much from the education, but it's up to you. I mean, if you're really stuck, some of these are hard, so you need their help. And from what I can tell, the ones I've done, they are pretty full, they are pretty well done. The education they provided has much improved from when Pathways rolled out. I think they took our feedback and finally did something with it. One of the first screens of every project, you're going to see a checklist, and you're at some point going to have a download. So the project checklist is something, we'll just take a look at these. I can kind of show them to you while we go. I'm not going to do them all, but there is a project checklist of stuff you might want to do for your speech. And take a look, see what it wants me to do. Schedule your speech with the VPE, write your speech, rehearse it, present it, schedule your speech, your second speech, because this is one that requires two speeches, right? Write your second speech, rehearse, present, and then volunteer to be a speech evaluator at a club meeting. Okay? Now, this checklist can also be a worksheet if you want. You can print it out and write on it and have it guide you along the way. This is very similar to Judith, what we saw before, but it's just ours was in a book. We printed it out. It's very similar to what we had before. Oh, I'm not going to go backwards. That's wrong. Evaluation resource, first speech, second speech, evaluator. Not going to print those out. I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Oh, let me go back. There's one more I should touch on. Print the evaluation and feedback project. This project is available to be printed just like if you like it in a book. You can just click on it, it'll come up, and you can just print the whole thing. Then you're not working online, you're working out of a book. Okay, that's an option. You'll see it's 27 pages. It's pretty long. That's an option, though. Some people like stuff printed, so I want to point out that's possible. Okay. So now we're going to get started. We have an introduction, and each of these has an idea of what we're going to do. If you think they get long, you can check. It says 2 of 15. There's 15 screens. We're already on the second one. I'm just going to kind of breeze through this, but you guys can use these as you want. Go to achievements, go to your documents. These are not going to be required that you click on these, but here is your purpose and your objectives, which is kind of handy. 2 5 to 7 minute speeches. Learning, evaluation, and feedback. Now, whenever you see something like this in the screens, these typically mean that you have to do something. You don't have to necessarily add a new item, but you can customize this for your own needs. So if you have another item that you want to include here to make sure you cover when you're doing this speech, you can add those yourself. Here's your competencies. These are what you're going to be evaluated on. Part 2, success begins with feedback. Don't know if you have to, Hal, you might know. I always open these. I don't always know if they require me that I open them, but I just do. I read them if I think they're helpful. How to receive feedback. They're going to have some more. I wanted to get to some of the mandatory elements to see how you get through those. There we go. Okay. When you see these, you cannot proceed until you do these. Okay. So we're going to say get the most from your evaluator, and they're going to tell you more about it. Focus on your speech, keep feedback positive, create a tool for success. Okay, I'm going to say not plan ahead. Now I'm going to try to go to next. No, it actually let me through. It wasn't supposed to let me through. I thought it was going to stop me. I thought it was going to stop me because I didn't click all 5 of those. But apparently it's going to let me fly through them. Sometimes too, you have to go through these, but this is just to learn more about this element. So if you're stuck on something of delivering this speech, there's training here for you. It's really well laid out, I think. They've come a long way from where they were in 2018, I can say that. Again, we have one of these. I always open these up. Empathy matters. Consider your words carefully. I gave my church in hate speech in front of feedbackers on Wednesday, and I was expecting to get slaughtered for it because it's controversial, but they didn't. They judged the speeches on its own merits. Okay, prepare to evaluate. Remember, there's an element of this project is to be an evaluator yourself. So it's going to be, don't be scared. You need to stand up straight. You have to speak. You need to improve your eye contact. You didn't move enough. I always feel that the one important thing with an evaluation is that you're talking to the group, but you are talking directly to the person you're evaluating. So you know that feedback. I will say, everybody, this is my thoughts on Hal's speech, but Hal, thank you. Here's what I thought. I think it makes it better. That's just my own personal opinion, but they're going to let you do this stuff. We're going to just continue to say next. Deliver your evaluation. I have not yet done this with this project open, so I guess I'll have to deliver yet one more evaluation. Maybe I know a bunch of people are scheduled to deliver in June, and I will evaluate one of those and finish this. Okay, so now that we have, and now here's where I might get one wrong because I blew through this and didn't pay attention. Start your evaluation by stating blank in an honest, respectful way. The observed behavior, I'm going to say. I may be wrong. I'm correct. You cannot get through this screen without answering the questions. Begin private evaluation by asking the speaker how they could have improved. Did compared to other speakers that day were able to read the audience or felt about the presentation? I would say that. And I'm correct. Okay. When giving feedback, I use blank. Vocal variety advice. When giving feedback, I use to keep the focus on the issues. I don't like any of those answers, to be honest with you. I'll say I messages. I'm going to be wrong, though. Ooh. Well, I don't agree, but okay, and I'm going to say next. Okay, I'll plan my assignment. I'm getting close here. Consider each step. I'm going to move on. I've already done this, so review and apply. It's going to tell me here. I am now going to have to say, how does accepting feedback help you develop your speaking skills? Said, I always like a peer's opinion. You can put a space in these and it will accept it. I don't believe you can skip it though. But you do have to save it. Each one you have to save. What's important to be tactful and constructive? Because it is important to maintain rapport. I have Grammarly help me out sometimes. What is the difference between the feedback you would give a new or experienced member and the feedback you would give a more advanced speaker? I'm going to say I am less interested in details with a newer speech. I did not take typing in high school, so How does body language impact the tone of feedback? Judith has talked about this in many meetings. It is more important usually than the message itself. What's the value of receiving feedback? I could go on this one, but I'm not going to. So I want to improve. I will not without feedback. Okay, let's slide down. Why is it important to stay engaged while another member is? Because it is. Sometimes I have trouble answering the questions.
Because it is. I like that answer.
What's the difference between feedback and advice? One is for improvement, one for preaching. How does one remain open? God, this is going on forever. How does one remain open to develop your public speaking skills?
It's these kinds of questions that make me nuts. It's just waste of time. So,
I know. That's why I'm going very short. I'm just going to say yes. Okay. I did write everything. I saved them all, so I should be able to go next. Complete my assignment, project purpose.
One thing I would add, Daniel, is when you bookmark the page, the next time you get doing that evaluating, you go to that.
Yeah, it will take you, exactly. It will take you where you left off. Okay. Project includes this. I don't know. Do I have to check, how do I have to check all these? I probably do, huh? Okay, so let's do that. Isn't that fancy? See, they spend a lot of time on and money on bells and whistles here too, and that drives me crazy. I can add a task. That's a good idea because sometimes you want to work on something that's not part of the objectives. I always like that idea. Reflect on my learning. Complete your project. I'm not going to add anything, and I got all these done. Okay. I know I've got 10 minutes here, so I want to close out and, oh, speech title. And this was Separation of Church and Hate. Speech date was Wednesday, the 13th. Select club, Silicon Forest. Select evaluator was Nicole. Oh, come on. Select evaluator, Nicole. Jeez. Okay. And then select evaluation resource. I've already done it. Oh, good Lord. This was request description. This is driving me crazy. Sorry, folks. No. Please add the details of my speech below. Oh, am I doing both? Am I doing both of them? Select the date. It was also the 13th. Select the select club. Feedbackers. Select evaluator.
Was your speech title separation of church and hate?
It was, you're right. Thank you. My evaluator was. Come on. Was it Marvin? Okay. Like the evaluation form, we're gonna do the same thing. It's at the bottom, right? This is why people get frustrated though. Let me just pick one. Save log. Success. Okay, so now I'm going to go backwards and go next. Complete your project. I got success, right? And go next. And you can, as Hal says, I click on bookmark this page. I should be able to go next. Before I move on, and then, did I do all that stuff? Congratulations. I'm going to say complete my project. Project completion. So now I will be ready to move on to the last part, which is reflect on my learning. This is going to complete this path. So can I do that? I don't know if I can do that or not. I may have to wait till tomorrow. I want to touch on one more point before we run out of time here. Let me go to the bottom. Level 1 completion. Submit level 1 for completion. I'm going to select the club. Sorry, folks, this is going to go to Silicon Forest. Submit. And now the VPE for Silicon Forest tomorrow will have this in her inbox, and she can approve me having completed level 1. Okay. Okay. The last thing I want to do here is I want to go to DTM requirements. I want to go through this because when we're going through an educational program, there's a stake in the ground, and it's way out there. It's out there in the field. This is, if you're a level 1, a level 5, a level 4, that's your called your Toastmasters designation. And it's really, really cool. As long as you're a Toastmaster, everybody knows what that means. If you reach the DTM level, that's yours for life. And so it's kind of a big goal, and it's hard. The reason it's not everybody doesn't have one is because it's hard. My first one took 8 years. So you're not in any hurry to get these. But if this is your goal, if you feel like this is for you, here's what you're going to need to do. Complete 2 learning paths. Okay. Does that mean 2 icebreakers and 2 voice variety? Yep, sure does. And the level 4, level 5, these are massive projects. One case right now, I have to do a blog for my level 5 for humor, and it's hard for me to do. So yes, Hal.
Would you explain that once more? You said if you complete 2 learning paths.
Yes.
Go through that for the kids.
So you'll complete 2 learning paths. So if you finish presentation mastery, you might do engaging humor too. You have to go all the way through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 2 paths. So 10 levels.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to get through one, then you're going to get through the other.
So in my case, I'm working in EM3.
Okay?
I have to complete a different.
Yes, as well. But you don't have, you can have them both open. You can have as many paths open as you want. And you can work, you don't have to work your level speeches in order. Once you're in a level, you can do the first speech, the fourth speech, the third speech, the second speech. Yeah, you don't have to do them in order. You have to do level 1 before you do level 2. But you don't have to do your speeches. You can do them in any order you want because you'll have access to that. Serve as a club officer for 2 6-month terms or 1 annual term. By the end of next month, you will all have accomplished that because you are all officers in this club. So this will already be done. Serve a complete 1-year term as a district leader. Usually that's an area director, or as we used to call him, an area governor, district director, division director. How'd you get yours, Judith? Were you an area director?
They didn't require me
Oh, okay.
that kind of leadership
Okay.
at that time. I've been around.
Okay. Serve as a club. These next 2 are the tough ones. Successfully serve as a club mentor or coach. You can only be a club mentor for a new club. Now, you can be a club coach for a failing club. But to do that, you have to get them to a distinguished club status to get credit for it. And the problem with that is a lot of clubs, I tried to do it for a club down the street that Judith might remember, the Dawson Speakers, and they didn't want to be saved. They were at Corvo, and they were like, I think we're just going to let it go. And they made me a club coach. I didn't get credit for it because they didn't want to help themselves. Successfully serve as a club sponsor or conduct a speechcraft youth leadership program. Club sponsor is very hard. Club sponsor means you are starting a new club. I've done it twice. I'm not doing it a third time. But I am going to maybe do a speechcraft project. This is for brand new speakers, and it applies to people who may not even be in Toastmasters yet. And I'm probably going to set one of those up next year.
I'd love to see how that's.
Yeah. Complete the DTM project. This used to be called the High Performance Leadership Project. This is when you take on a project either in Toastmasters or outside of it. At work, it can be a volunteer project. You have to do a project of some kind, a big project yourself as the leader in employing a team. I decided what my next project's going to be. I'm going to be scheduling, and maybe in the spring or the late fall, I'd like to do a reading of Toastmasters of the King Mutiny Court Martial play, a dramatic reading, and get some of my favorite old timer Toastmasters to read the play. And I got the idea for that in October when Hal and I went to that facility at the Beaverton Library, the big auditorium there, and it's perfect for something like this, and it's free. So I think I want to organize that. I'm going to call some people like Matt Douglas, who just spoke at this World Championship, get some good people, Cleon Cox, who most of us know, get these kinds of people. If I can get them to do a dramatic reading for us, I know we'll need to get some females in there reading male parts, but I think they'll be fine with it. But that's going to be a project. But the idea is you're going to take a project of yours that you need to accomplish, a big project, like say let's say he's going to set up a bicycle safety seminar at the Wingspan Center or something, and say, hey, I'm going to need to get some trainers to train the kids. We're going to have a couple of bike mechanics there to fix little things on bikes. We're going to, whatever you want to do. And he's going to organize that whole afternoon, right? Maybe do a ride around the fairgrounds. If he organizes that and goes through it, he'll get credit for putting that kind of a project together. And so, I mean, Judith just did it at work, and I saw the culmination of it. She went from a athletic department parking lot to a fully working food truck pod. I was at the grand opening, and she did it end to end. She could have got credit for this, even though she's getting paid for it. It doesn't have to be volunteer. It doesn't have to be a volunteer thing. It can be a thing. I'm sure it required a team. She had people working for her. She had advisors she trusted. She had advisors that were forced upon her that she didn't trust. And that's all part of leading a project. So But we used to call this the High Performance Leadership Project. It was separate from everything else. Now it's just a part of your DTM requirements.
Before you move on, Jim.
Yep,
With regard to say this, bicycle education.
Yep.
Talking about. If I work from an established curriculum, how does that?
I think it's fine. Because you still have to organize the whole project. Yeah, you don't have to write you don't have to be the author of it. But they got a really problem caveat in here, which I don't agree with. Sorry, Omar. I'm going to say something I don't agree with here. You don't get access to the DTM project on the website until you have finished an entire path and 3 levels of the second path. They don't open it up to you. What I say is, let's find it online, get going on it, and then once you get to that point, you'll fill out what you've done. Because I think a project sometimes takes, because then what happens? You're going to hold on to a good idea until you get that far. I get a good idea. I want to act on it now. I mean, life is short, right? I'm going through 4 major surgeries in a year. Sorry, I want to get my stuff done now.
To do, something on personality theory, which is something I'm trained in and I've spoken on many times over the past. I would like to do one on speaking to your personality within your personality and capitalizing on that.
Sure.
But it wouldn't be attached necessarily to Toastmasters.
Doesn't have to be.
Or it can be.
Can
So,
be.
yeah.
Can be. Doesn't have to be.
That's something that would interest me because I've had a lot of success with just coaching people in regard to.
Well, and I have to say, my first project I cheated on. I didn't cheat. I just followed the rules. But my project was, as my project, I am going to create a new Monday night Toastmasters club. So I got together with my friends and we put together a Toastmasters club. And so then once we chartered, I got credit for the chartering, and then we needed a mentor. Guess what? I was the mentor too. So because I decided to do this, I got 3 of the toughest requirements out of the way. Now, would I do that again? Absolutely, I would, because it was hard. And Lori Anderson and I worked on it together. And I don't think if I did it again, I wouldn't do it during our charter date be the first day of a global pandemic, but because that part didn't work out. But if you are interested, and I'm not saying you should be interested in using your distinguished Toastmaster, if that's a goal for you, then these are the things you're going to need to do, and pathways will be a part of every step of the way. If you do charter a club, then you'll go through the chartering process, and your charter, when you get credited as the chartering member, it will go in here into the system as you've got a charter. Yeah, and 17 of them have to be new. The part is 17 of them have to be new, because I had 10 and 10, and they said, yeah, you still need 7 more. And 10, I said, you realize if I have 10 and 10, I have a 1-to-1 mentorship going into a brand new club. Is there a better scenario you can think of than that? And they're like, yeah, it sounds good, but and the only answer they gave me to why is that's the rules and there's no thinking around it. Hey guys, this is Pathways. Are there any questions that you guys have?
I do.
Okay.
I have one. So that has a somewhat of a full cut.
Yep.
How much time should I allocate and plan for all the stuff, being gentle, all the stuff I have to do to complete a pathway? So I would take the booklet, open it up, read it, make all that stuff happen. Now I have all these things I have to do in the order in which it's in.
Yep.
And it won't complete it without me doing it a certain way.
15 minutes.
This is making me feel,
15 minutes per project.
okay.
15 minutes per project.
That's manageable, because
Yep.
first time I tried it. And
I would say download the checklist and then work from that and see how much of this learning do I need and just get what you need? Because you're going to read through vocal variety, and you've probably done 55 speeches where the theme was vocal variety. So I don't think there's anything in this module you're going to learn. But if there's one on time management, maybe that's your sore spot. You might spend more time on that one. But if you want to talk about the gobbledygook you need to go through from, okay, I'm going to start this project until we're going to close the project out and call it good, 15 minutes. That's what it just took me just now.
It was such a
It's,
sludge.
it is much, it is much improved. Now, and you saw, I shortcutted some of it.
I appreciate that.
But you can do it that way too. All I was doing there was, I mean, how many times have I done the reevaluation project over and over? So I didn't have a lot to say. And I can just, if I just put, I mean, one of the answers was, what did you gain out of this? And I said, yes, just so I could have something in the field. So it would let me through it.
It helps. So again, we're working on Jude's attitude because they'll like being put into a little box that you have to do everything exactly this way, exactly.
And
And
but
that frustrates me. I'm just being completely honest. I'm trying to train my attitude out of me so I can more fully embrace it, so I can help people who come into the club. So it's not gonna be perfect right off the bat. I'm gonna have to work through it. I'm just gonna be straight.
what I'm going to do right now at this point for the group, for right now at this point, we are at 105. I am going to stop the recording.
I would like to see this again from the very beginning. So when we put it on again, I'll attend again, because I really want to get through it, and I need to manage my.
The whole thing has been recorded.
Pardon me?
We recorded the whole thing.
This is good. So if I can get beyond and outside of my own attitude issues about it, then I can help other people get past their attitude issues about it. It's just that they've added so much to it that you have to do, and that's where I kind of got sidetracked. And Cheryl took care of a part of it.
I think it's manageable now. Omar?
There is actually Daniel didn't have to. You filled in more forms than you had to. Because, like, for example, I don't usually add the valuation resource because I don't really see a need for it. And I don't usually use the valuation resources they give because I just say I want to work. I'm doing this project is what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
So I don't usually actually fill in that part. I do agree that it's the kind of thing like if you do like just spend like limit to 15 minutes, it really should be something just kind of go through. I personally find the part of like no wonder learned helpful because you could just comment yourself like this is what I know, this is maybe like specific thing I want to work on. So I find that specific part helpful. I do generally agree with if you know the material already, like you've been Toastmasters, in my case a decade, in your case more than a decade.
Yep.
You don't need to go through that material again if you already know it. So I think it's totally acceptable just kind of go through it if you already know it. But I think the no wonder learned, I found that helpful a little bit, just saying, hey, this is what I got out of the project.
All right.
Very quiet.
He actually said that he shortcuts more than I do.
Yeah. I think I write a little bit more, but some of it might just be a pride thing. I pride myself on being a writer, so I'm like, gotta write something. But I agree, you should not spend more than 15 minutes. It's something to just kind of treat as let's just do this and get it done.
Well, and I understand what you're saying. However,
Yeah.
when I'm coaching somebody and I'm asking me how much time is this taking to get through on the paperwork, I would like to have just a general answer for that, 15 minutes to a half an hour, depending on how fast or slow you are.
Yeah.
Because the time I went through and I did it, I had no idea, and it took me so much time.
Yeah.
That I was frustrated and
You
cast
can-
aside for
there-
almost a year.
There's very little in there that's required to move on.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Daniel, actually, you had some things that weren't required for you to fill out. You technically could have shortcutted more. To give you an idea, Judith, I have to get going soon, so I guess I want to let you know that I'm planning to do my visit report. So I'm gonna kind of, I think, focus more on like the open house than this because it's not as traditional of a meeting. But I'll definitely bring up both of them, and I'll do the visit report hopefully this weekend. So just letting
Well,
you know.
this can be your meeting visit.
Yeah. So I kind of had, kind of combining both of them. And I also review my past visit reports too. So if there's things I notice. At any rate, I just hope that the visit report can be a helpful source of just these are things to look at, things to work on. And
Well,
as area director, I'm just trying to help you out. I want to see succeed.
I appreciate your feedback and it helps you. I've been around since 2009.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've been to the front, I've been to the back, I've been to the in-between, and then when I started working on pathways, I
Yeah.
got so incredibly frustrated. So
Yeah.
my goal this year is to embrace it and not complain about it and develop a better attitude about it so I can sell it better. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is
Yeah.
the resources we have.
Yeah.
Not, and so
Yeah.
I'm of the mindset that we need to work with what we have,
Yeah.
not what we want, so we can get to
Mhm.
what we want. And so
Yeah.
that it's kind of a chase your
Yeah.
tail kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
wanted, since we're few in numbers, I could be actually fully on.
Yeah.
I wanna overcome my resistance,
Yes.
feeling like I have to conform to
Well-
every bit of minutia.
And
Yeah.
one thing you missed at the beginning, this is the fourth iteration of Pathways in 5 years.
So I'll be better.
So they have been listening to our feedback. And the
Okay.
fact they added those two vintage paths,
Yeah.
I think was them listening to us saying, oh, we have people here that don't like it. Here's what they did like about the other one. They're not going back to paper books again, clearly,
We understand.
but they can add some of that kind of curriculum. I looked at that second vintage path and I'm like, finally, where were you all these years? So that's the path I really want to tackle. So
Yeah.
anyways, hey, good, everybody. I'm going to shut down the,
I just want to make one quick comment actually. So I got asked to help with Phyllis Harmon asked me to help with a leadership event that's scheduled in June, and I think information was shared with that, but I want to share that. I asked Hal to be on my HPL committee.
okay,
So Hal is one of my advisors for that.
okay,
I did that because I know Hal had some interest, and I thought it'd be a good way for Hal to see this is what upper level Toastmasters looks like. So I want to share
good,
that.
good. Look forward to what that project bears. I
Yeah.
was all set to step away from Toastmasters and Brigitte, we're adjourned.
Yeah.
You
I'm
can-
gonna have to get going. Sorry about that.
but
Thank you for having me.
yeah, take care. And then I got asked to be a president of another club. So I'm, uh, I'm going to let my break take a break and then I'll come back and then take my break. So I'm going to end the Zoom.